Hola, compadres. Jeremy right here, and I'm just doing a little bit of tank maintenance and walking around feeding some gups for a moment. And this is just some tiny flake food. Check out this T5 old school light that I have. This was literally like in my parts bin. And it's now over this 5 gallon tiny. I call this a nano tank. I think anything under 10 gallons is a nano tank, really, like to me. Um, but yeah, this is a cool little tank. So let me show you. There's some Pelia. That's this plant kind of top and center. It's been growing rather well. It began actually submerged. I got this from a local fish store on the west side of the state of Arkansas at um, Shade Tree Aquatics. And yeah, I think it's cool. So what else is up here? There's some pothos that's been growing literally from down under and in the tank, all in the tank. Oh, look at that. There's a little bit of algae. I didn't notice that before. Let's get that out of there. Not that algae's bad. It's just not what I'm trying to grow, right? I hope others can understand that. So, if you find a piece of algae, pick it out. If you find a piece of algae, pick it out. That's all you have to do. You don't have to put any poison in there. Just pick it out. Um, what else is going down here? Physidens fontanus. I'm gonna give the ram's horn snail that I pulled out back. And so yeah, this was kind of an overflow guppy tank, and it happened because convict cichlids took over the 29 gallon that these guys were previously hanging in. And then, the guppies were not reproducing. It wasn't a safe place for them after convicts went in there. So they got a 5 gallon. And in here, there's just all kinds of stuff from pearlweed to roripa to I am forgetting the name of this plant here. Knotweed. Mexican petunia, which is this big guy growing up over the tank. Zoom, 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 zoom. Yeah, they do great. So if you find any of this stuff, gardeners commonly have this stuff. So yeah, it literally is just hanging out in the tank. Snails will ravage the roots of this type plant unless the roots get an opportunity to grow down under the substrate. And so, ram's horns, particularly, sorry for the focus problem there, but yeah, there's just stuff growing in here. There's some guppy grass. There is, what else? Physidens fontanus. I mentioned the pearlweed. There's just a little spot of pearlweed in there. There's Chinese evergreen hanging over here. That is this plant. They do fine growing up from aquariums, and you can see kind of some of my mess from aquarium maintenance. That's that stuff. That's my maintenance pile. Kind of the daily spot where I leave a mess of jars that are sitting out overnight to gas off chlorine and such. But yeah, this tank just hangs out over here and grows gups, and that is indeed what they do. It's right in here in my guest bathroom for everyone to see. It's kind of a plant room. Every winter, this room fills up with tropical plants, and that's just what happens, and that's fine. Totally fine. My daughter flooded one of my little pots last weekend, and these guys are struggling now. I really should help them out. It got filled to the brim with aquarium water. Now, I can't blame her. She's 2. I was letting her in here, and she likes playing in the water. Go figure. 2-year-old like splashing in the water, playing in the sink, making messes. Who'd have thunk? So, anyway, it is kind of hard to see in here sometimes because that leaf just hangs over, but whatevs. That's what's going on in here. And I enjoy it. Now, the knotweed that literally just came out of my yard. I'm talking about this thing that's got the string that's growing horizontally. Now it grows all the way over and then up the tank and then out of the tank. And for some reason, the foliage that's been up out of the water is not doing nearly as well as the foliage that was in the water. So I don't know if there's a break here. Oh yeah. So let's look over here. There's a place right here where it's broken. So I'm gonna need to cut that and put it back down in the tank. And then it will grow like that. That's the same plant. So anyway, yeah, this was just kind of a, let me show you what's going on. Oh, check out here. Hole in the pothos leaf. I can tell you what that's from quickly. That is from the ram's horn snails, and there's no reason to really pick out the fallen leaves. Leaves from the Mexican petunia often fall into my aquariums, and I just let them. That's fine. They're food for snails. They're a little bit of fertilization returning to the ecosystem. That's okay. Yeah, this is what it is. So this is kind of an unusual tank for me. It's got gravel bottom. It's not really that high in biodiversity compared to my other stuff. And it's got a T5 fluorescent tube on top of it. And let's get a look at this. Can you see the reflection? It's an old Aqueon. We may be able to see what it says. Color X. I'm trying to read backwards. Oh, it's a T8, not a T5. It's an 18-inch T8. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I think I would even prefer T5s over T8s, but T8s are awesome too. So yeah, that was something that was an old thing that was in, that maybe even my grandmother gave to me. She's the person who got me into aquariums when I was very young. I'm now 40. She's 91, and we're still doing aquariums together. Rock on. So shout out to my grandmother. That's my dad's mom. My mother's parents were also into aquatics. They had koi ponds and a Japanese garden and streams around their house. And I was into that stuff from a young age. So my mom's brothers were into aquariums as well. When I was very young, we had one in my home where I grew up, 29 gallon. And then when my parents got divorced, I found it in the storage closet in our garage. And I'm going like, Mom, why is there an aquarium stand out here and we're not using it? What's up with that? She said, well, do you want it? Yeah. So I ended up putting it in my bedroom, and it was awesome. So that was my first personal aquarium. It was a 29. And now 29 is one of my favorite sizes for kind of a medium small-ish tank. And I've got one running right now. It's my convict tank. But I think I'll give it a cut around this moment. We have talked about the little 5-gallon Guppy tank and what it is. It's just got this tiny little Datu filter. Datu is what we called my dad's grandmother, Datu. So it's kind of interesting. Called both of my grandmothers Mama. There's a story behind that too. But anyway, yeah. That's how I got into aquatics many years ago. And I'll be 41 this year, and I'm still doing it, and no plans on quitting. So if you enjoy this sort of thing, give me a like, subscribe, share, comment, tell me what's going on in your life, tell me what's going on with your aquatic hobby, and I will catch you shortly and keep loading videos like this. Adios.